Donald Trump may have just dropped a name for Karoline Leavitt's replacement, and it came straight from Fox News. During a new interview, Trump appeared to suggest Fox correspondent Alexis McAdams could take over the White House press briefing room. McAdams herself asked Trump who he would like to see behind the White House podium once Leavitt leaves at the end of August. Trump's response was immediate, "You?" before following up with, "How about you?" The U.S. president then turned the moment into something of an on-camera audition, telling McAdams that he has always liked her and suggesting she could do the job. Trump also appeared to seek Leavitt's reaction while she was standing nearby, making the exchange even more notable as speculation continues over who will take over one of the most visible roles in his administration. But before floating McAdams, Trump made it clear that replacing Leavitt will not be easy. He praised his outgoing press secretary and said she would be very difficult to replace. Then Trump joked about the reason behind Leavitt's decision to leave, saying, "I found out Karoline Leavitt likes her children more than she likes Trump. I'm very concerned about that." Leavitt announced earlier this week that she will leave her position as the White House press secretary at the end of August, saying she wants to devote more time to her family and her 2 young children. Her departure comes just months after she welcomed her second child. Leavitt gave birth on May 1st and returned to the White House podium in July following maternity leave. For now, however, there is no official successor. Trump's comments about McAdams put the Fox News correspondent into the conversation, but the White House has not formally announced who will take over the job. Leavitt's exit has also triggered speculation online over whether her departure could be connected to the controversial aircraft switch involving Trump during his July trip to Turkey. A tense exchange involving outgoing White House press secretary Karoline Leavitt and Trump advisor Natalie Harp has sparked fresh speculation, with a lip reader now claiming to have deciphered parts of their conversation. The footage emerged just as Leavitt announced she was leaving the White House, prompting questions online about whether her departure was entirely straightforward. The 28-year-old White House press secretary announced on Wednesday that she would step down from her role at the end of August. She said the decision was driven by her desire to spend more time with her young family after welcoming her second child, daughter Viviana, in May. But shortly after the announcement, footage from what appears to be an earlier Marine One exchange began circulating online. In the clip, Leavitt can be seen sitting across from Natalie Harp, a political advisor to U.S. President Donald Trump and former television host. Trump is also present during the interaction. Leavitt appears to have her arms folded as she speaks with Harp, while both women can be seen looking at their phones at various points. At one moment, Leavitt gestures toward Harp and appears to become visibly animated during the conversation. As reported by the Mirror US, professional lip reader Nicola Hickling claimed to have interpreted portions of the exchange. According to Hickling's reading, Leavitt appears to ask, "Are you sure?" Harp then allegedly responds, "We don't like it. There's going to be an announcement as soon as possible, okay?" Leavitt appears to sigh and rub her arms before pointing toward Harp. Hickling then claims Harp says, "This has now happened twice." What the women were actually discussing remains unclear. There is no confirmation that the exchange concerned Leavitt's decision to leave the White House. It is also important to stress that lip reading is an interpretation, and there is no independent confirmation that the words identified are accurate or that the exchange had anything to do with Leavitt's resignation. The footage has nevertheless fueled online speculation because of its timing. Trump critic account Call to Activism shared the clip on X and claimed Leavitt appeared isolated during a tense exchange with Trump and another woman. The account questioned whether the White House was covering up something. Again, that is a claim, not an established fact. Leavitt's own explanation for leaving the White House has been much more straightforward. In her resignation statement, she described the decision as bittersweet and said that returning to the White House after the birth of her daughter had made her reassess how much time she could devote to the demanding position. Leavitt wrote that she had realized she could not be the best mother her two young children deserved, while also giving the White House press secretary role the constant time, energy, and attention it requires. Her older child, a son, is 2 years old. She had only recently returned to her briefing responsibilities after giving birth to Viviana in May. Leavitt's departure is notable because she made history as the youngest person to serve as White House press secretary. Trump himself announced her exit shortly before Leavitt's statement and offered a glowing endorsement. The president said he understood and respected her decision to spend more time with her family, but he also made clear that Leavitt would not be disappearing from his political orbit. He said she would become one of his top outside advisors and remain an influential voice within the Republican Party. Trump also suggested she would continue to work to help Republicans ahead of the midterm elections. The White House has not indicated that Leavitt's resignation was connected to any dispute with Harp or another member of Trump's inner circle, and no evidence presented in the footage establishes that Leavitt was being forced out. What the video does show is a private-looking conversation taking place around the president at a sensitive moment for the White House, and that has been enough to trigger a wave of speculation. The alleged lip reading has added another layer to the mystery, but without clear audio, the words cannot be independently verified. For now, Leavitt's official explanation remains that she is leaving because she wants to prioritize her family. The White House has yet to name her replacement, and while the Marine One footage is likely to fuel questions about what was really discussed, there is no confirmed evidence that the tense exchange changed, caused, or explains Karoline Leavitt's decision to leave the White House.